Welcome, this is RPGdad.
RPGNate.
And this is our next weekly Encounters Wrap-Up podcast. We're a day late because technology worked against us. We had some bandwidth issues yesterday, which I had to deal with, so all our YouTube uploads took forever. So I wasn't able to record since the computer I record on was uploading all day. So sorry for the late entry.
Deadpool getting uploaded yesterday was my fault because I just wasn't doing it.
Well, that should have been done once it was recorded. But anyway, this is the D&D Encounters podcast, so let's move on. This Wednesday, we had the second encounter of Search for the Diamond Staff. This week, the party had to hurry back to Imani's tower, and it was being attacked by a group of orcs, and there was a raging flesh golem in there, smashing everything in its way.
I assume that the sage is either a necromancer or somebody on the enemy side is a necromancer, but there's a necromancer somewhere.
You're just fixated with necromancers. But as the DM, the flesh golem was actually neutral. It was attacking everyone by the time it got there, whatever was closest. And actually, if I would have rolled a 6 on any of the D6 die that I rolled, it would have been in a rage, and if there wasn't anything close, it would smash even an inanimate object. I didn't roll a single 6 at the beginning of the golem's rounds, so that never happened. It never raged. It just went on attacking whatever was closest or nearby. Your group, it took a while for them to figure out, which unfortunately it was too late, but to figure out what was going on, that the golem was just rampaging against everything. If you would have moved out of the way, it would have kept going to the closest orcs and attacked them, which, to start, they were piled up on one side of the room. Our ranger from last week moved to another table because we had 2 new players sit down, we had our father and son duo show up, and then we had you and RPG Gem. And 7 would have been too much, and instead of making them split and all that kind of stuff, he moved. Honestly, for the group, I think it worked out better because the ranger, we used a pre-gen for the ranger, and the one new player who had never played D&D before, he played the ranger, and tactically, he did what he should have done. He didn't hide behind the mage, he didn't hide behind anybody, he moved around the room, and he took his shots. So it worked out better for you, and when we talked to him afterwards, the other ranger said he hid behind the mage on that table. So it sounds to me like he's just going to use whatever meat shield there is in front of him to stay alive.
I just stayed away from the enemies as much as I could.
Yeah, you switched over to a glaive, reduced your AC to 18, and that worked out for you. Your cleric, RPG Gem, wasn't happy with you because she did more damage and more attacks than you did overall. Yeah, she did. She killed like 3 orcs throughout the encounter. And she got the final killing blow on the golem.
I attacked every round.
But I know, but you didn't hit every round. She had better luck hitting. And for a cleric, she did a pretty good job. She went through, she did her job. She didn't have any heals left, so she decided to do what she normally doesn't do and engaged, which was pretty good to see.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what did you think of the encounter?
It wasn't as hard as it was last time because I didn't run in immediately. I mean, I did, but then I returned back to the spot that I started.
Well, I added a couple of orcs. Actually, I added 4 orcs to the encounter. I brought that second wave in just because these next encounters end so quickly. You know, I really...
Even 4th edition encounters, if you have an experienced group, will end in less than an hour.
It would not have happened with this one because the golem was extremely powered up for the 4E. The orcs were much more challenging. What you're seeing right now are orcs that have, orcs and creatures that have like 12 or 13 AC, which, unless you totally suck on all your rolls, you're going to hit them. Where the 4E encounters are set up more to make it a challenge. These conversions on Next that I'm seeing make it so there's really not much of a challenge if the group plays smart and it makes their rolls. I mean, they don't have any hit points. The golem only had 80 hit points. The 4E Golem would have had over 200.
Remember that dragon in the first Neverwinter season that you destroyed in half an hour?
Yeah, but, we did some stuff before we got to that. So there was a little bit of role play in that encounter. This encounter, there was really no time for role playing because you had to finish up what you did from the last encounter.
The only guy,
and you had to run up the hill.
The only guy that you're really able to role play with this encounter was unconscious.
Yeah, but there was really this session so far, except for last week. If you finish early, there might be some role play that the DM can throw in, but there's not a lot. And honestly, I think that would make it more fun for the new people coming in to play.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see the girl that came with the new guy. She was an experienced 4E player, and she had played some 3.5. They actually came expecting to play 4E, but
they played 5E.
They played Next, and they were both happy. They can't make it next week, so they're going to a game or something, and then the following week they said they'll be back.
I think it's a baseball game.
But either way, if they come back, then we did our job. If they enjoyed themselves, they were happy, they came back. We did our job as a table, and I did my job as a DM to make it enjoyable for them. Now with this encounter, you had the Orc and Golem encounter. You had to take care of Imani, and then there was a real quick skill challenge. And actually what I ended up giving you was the 4E skill challenge, which you should be glad because you would have failed because you had all those fail rolls up front. But with the 4E skill challenge, it was 6 successes before 3 failures. With the next one, it was
4 before 2.
No, it was actually roll the whole table and see if they had a majority.
I think we had a majority. Otherwise, we would have failed.
It was pretty tight. So I went ahead and I did the 6 and 3, and you guys made it either way. Overall, I think it was a fun encounter. The combat was not as bad, but I think the combat was not as bad because you were playing with characters that were not playing. What's the best way for me to put it? So selfishly this week. You had a couple of players last week that were just playing absolutely selfish D&D, not caring about what happened with the rest of the party, leaving people hang out to dry, and that makes it tough for a table. It really does.
I mean, I was moving away, but I was generally by myself anyways. So.
Well, you were moving towards the encounter. Everybody else was either hiding or moving away from the encounter.
This encounter.
Well, I mean, last week. And this week, you were going ahead, moving, attacking, and then, finishing your move section afterwards to give yourself some safety. But most of the time, it seemed like there was really no way for you to stay up close anyway because somebody was already engaged, and you were using a reach weapon, which gave you that one behind. I think I would have liked to have seen you maybe flank to give both of you combat advantage, so you'd get the double roll and have a better chance of hitting, or even critting, because it's going to increase your odds right there. But you guys survived. Nobody went down. The mage got close because he was standing by the door when the second wave rushed on in. But other than that, you guys, the table played and worked together. And that's really what I like to see, is a table that works together instead of a table where you've got a couple of players who are just looking out for their character. Instead of realizing, even if they go down, you've got a healer. This week you had 2 healers in the group. Somebody can bring you up.
Yeah. And,
I really hate to see selfish play like that.
I was happy when I leveled up. I took a magic weapon.
Yeah.
And now I have an enchanted glaive. So that's good.
So next week we'll probably have our regular table back, and I'm not saying anything as a DM. The players need to say something to the other players because it'll be the 3rd week working together as a group, and the selfish play really has to stop.
Well, it was really weird seeing them play like that. Like the rogue, who's the barbarian in our Sunday group.
He's usually rushing into the fray.
Yeah, it was weird seeing him play like that.
And I think that people are taking the neutral too far, the evil too far, and realizing that it's in your best interest to keep the group up. Because let's say the whole group goes down because you played selfishly, you're going to end up dead because you've got an entire battlefield full of guys coming after just you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not only selfish play, it's stupid play. You're leaving yourself open so that you're just going to get crushed if the rest of your party goes down because you're playing so cowardly or selfishly. And it's disappointing to see that because I mean, honestly, D&D is a game where you're supposed to be working together. And sometimes I think part of it is, just the nature of playing the game, especially in an open format where anybody can come and play. The two people that came this week, I talked to the guy and he said the girl's like, yeah, people are usually lawful good or something like that. So she's used to playing in a group where everybody works together.
Yeah.
All right.
On a Sunday group, everybody works together though, and they're all pretty much evil.
I know, but we're not playing chaotic stupid, which is what I like to call it. And it's too many people that play.
The one guy right now is building the Acropolis under the orphanage and feeding the orphans.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Monday because hopefully you'll be able to nip that in the butt. Honestly, if he's feeding the orphans to the things, his necropolis is going to come to a swift and awful end because the town's guard's going to figure out what's going on and they're going to go down and they're going to wipe out those ghouls.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be welcome back there. They're going to have a welcome party waiting for him, but he's not going to be welcome back. I mean, that's the way you have to play it. There's some serious issues with how the direction he's taking that character. And, I reiterate, evil doesn't mean stupid. Evil doesn't mean that you're going to lose your alliances here he's claiming he grew up in an orphanage and, he has his allegiance to that, and it's not like he has negative memories of it. So he would feel a kinship with the other orphans, not I'm going to feed the orphans to these ghouls.
And I mean, there are islands out there that he just build it under that have nothing.
But he doesn't own the city there, does he?
No, that have nothing on them.
But I'm saying he doesn't own that city. He's going someplace where there's a city, and it's really stupid because he's not that powerful, and I know my character's not going to back that kind of shit up.
Yeah, and that the one guy's not going to take that.
No. So, I mean, we have enough characters there that they're not going to back that type of character behavior up, and he's just going to get, excuse the language, he's going to get bitch slapped when he goes back because there'll be a welcome party waiting for him.
Yeah, and there's an NPC in the world that'll easily kill him.
So, I wouldn't abuse the NPC, but I mean, what he's doing and the direction he's going, he's going against everything that our campaign is doing.
Yeah.
We're fighting against Orcus, and he's essentially becoming by proxy Orcus follower. And that's not good.
What was the feeding the orphans?
Well, the ghoul thing, the feeding the orphans, just taking evil to the ultimate extreme, and even going against how the characters in our group behave. I don't think there's a single character in the group that's going to be like, yeah, that's cool.
But anyways, back to Wednesday.
But anyway, Wednesdays, yeah. I haven't looked at next week's encounter. I was very worried about this week's encounter with the Golem, but the Golem ended up being weak. I mean, these 13 ACs. Wizards, stop giving these people such weak characters. All the players have decent ACs except for Wizards. Wizards suck, but they're supposed to be back doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and Rangers.
Even the Ranger has a decent AC. It was like 16, 17.
Oh, probably because of Dragon Scale or whatever it is.
So, you've got characters with a decent armor class, and they're coming up against basically these weak, very extremely weak creatures, and that's not what they should be encountering. There should be, it should be equal, not equality by just sheer numbers of what you're attacking, but equality because the numbers are almost close to what your group is. That's why I had to throw extra in. It should be an equal encounter where you guys are bashing each other, not just going up, thump, up. It has 11 hit points, it's dead. Technically, it's not dead till the following round, but you guys are all dealing at least 11 hit points or points of damage when you're hitting, and you're putting them down.
My was just turned to 8.
So you guys, but unless you roll a 1,
that's one.
You're just rolling. Unless you're rolling garbage, the party does enough to put these creatures down. And even though these orcs, they get hit and they are at 0 or they're at 11, they can go as far as -11. -11, they're dead. If you can get them to -11 in 1 or 2 hits by 2 characters, then they're out of play. Otherwise, they get a free shot, and they do as much or more damage, depending on the attacks they get to do, than you guys do. And, yeah, that might offset it a little bit, but they don't have as good a modifier as you guys have. And it's just too easy. That's why that one table's done so quickly, because the creatures they're throwing at you are too easy to kill. When it was a 4E encounter, it almost always took hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. It took the 2 hours. And I really feel that unless we're adding stuff in there to give you guys your 2 hours, the DMs are failing the table.
Yeah. And with the lower ACs, it's a lot easier to figure out what their AC is as a player.
But, I mean, everything's got a 12 or 13 AC. The golem I can see because it's a big pile of flesh, but the orcs that are with armor, and they've got, they're wearing leather armor, so they should at least be...
What's their dex? Is it a +1 modifier?
They didn't give them any dex. They don't have anything. I mean, they're the worst creatures I've seen in encounters in a while. And so, I mean, they have no AC. They have no chance to make these dex saving throws against the wizard stuff, unless I roll really well. Because your wizard's got a 16 for his saves on his stuff. So, unless I'm rolling a 16 or better, it's just no chance they can save. So, I mean, they're not even glass cannons, because they're doing an average of a D8 plus 2 or a D6 plus 2.
I thought there was D12 as well. The battle axes. Yeah,
the battle axe does a D12 plus 2. And on rare occasions, the funniest one was when RPG Gem, I rolled that D12, and she puts her hand over and touches it, and it was getting ready to roll to a 2. And just as it stops moving, she hits it, and it goes to a 12. I think she was being a smart ass, but it was almost like she grabbed that battle axe out of the orc's hand and said, "You're hitting like a girl. This is how you do it." Bam! And hit herself with it. So that was kind of funny. I had to laugh when she just knocked the snot out of herself.
We had to tease her a bit after that, because any player that does that, you just got to do it.
She did it to herself, and it ended up on the 12, and she's taking that 12 damage.
Well, at least I can heal her, possibly, if I feel like it.
But overall, like I said, it was a fun encounter session. I had a lot more fun as a DM because I wasn't frustrated with players hiding behind other players.
And that damn web.
And yeah, the web was gone. You guys, your mage doesn't have his level 2 spells right now. You haven't had time for a short rest because of the mechanics. I didn't give it to you this week. I may give it to you so you have time to go into the cave the next week. I'll think about it, and that might get each of your players one spell slot back, which will help. But as far as I was concerned, the time frame between last week and this week, I mean, you finished battle, you're hearing screaming and clashing. You don't have time to take 5 minutes. You didn't have 5 minutes to sit down. You had to run to the next combat, so you didn't get a short rest. And I think that's something that DMs out there need to think of, is really, if you hear from the direction of your patron combat going on, are you going to sit down and take 5 minutes as an actual hired person? Or are you going to sit there and say, well, I know that this guy that hired me is getting slaughtered up there, but I'm going to sit down, take my time, and heal up. You're not going to do that. It's not the way it works. And I didn't give you that time because it didn't make any sense. If that would have happened, it would have been the same thing as not going. And the golem would have wiped out all the orcs. They would have wiped out the mage there. You would have had no reason to go, and everything would be done. But not giving you the short rest forced you to get up there quickly and go into the fray. What I thought was funny was, at the end, I let you guys know, there were 2 ways to win the encounter. You could either go and kill everything,
or run away.
Or you could run away, and the golem would do what I just said, kill everything in the building. And
so what was the story if you ran away?
The golem killed everything in the building, and then, maybe it just wandered on off. I don't know.
But how do you get to the place?
Exactly. Because you wouldn't know the diamond staff was stolen. You wouldn't know to track the orcs. You wouldn't have known anything. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, any groups out there that chose to run away, that should have ended the encounter seasons for them, because they wouldn't have known what happened, the orcs, the direction they went. You wouldn't have been able to do the skill challenge. Amani wouldn't have been able to be alive to tell you that the diamond staff was stolen. That would have negated everything. So, to put that in there as an option, That should be a season-ending option for the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of lame, again, on Wizards' part to put that in there as an option, to run away. I mean, Wizards, you're getting really lame with some of the stuff you're putting in these encounters and in these modules. Yeah. Think before you write.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, don't give an option to run away.
You gotta fight that stuff.
You guys, these are supposed to be heroic characters. Heroes don't run away. They just don't. They go in, they fight, they do their combat, and hopefully they make it out alive. So think before you put stuff like that in a module. Don't say, "Oh, you can run away." That's stupid, because a smart DM is going to go, "Okay, that's the end. Season's done.
Bye."
Yeah, bye. So, but other than that, so far, what do you think? Are you having fun this season?
First encounter, no. This encounter, yes.
Yeah. Honestly, I think everyone at the table, except for the two that played at another table, everyone at the table had a lot more fun. I saw more smiles this week. The new guy was sitting there. He's like, "Oh, this is going faster than I thought it would." And even the girl who she sat down, she was like, "Oh," when we said it was 5th edition, she had fun.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm seeing everybody smiling at the table, that's what I want to see. I mean, that's what Encounters is. You're bringing new people in, even the existing people. You're trying to keep them coming back. And if they're smiling at the table and having fun, they're coming back.
And that's the job as a DM, even on Sunday campaigns, just make people have fun.
Yep. But with your Sunday campaign, I think you need to really wrest control a little more, because you got character out of hand.
Yeah, his schools are going to die.
I'm doing my best not to get out of hand. Yeah, I started a war, but considering Neverwinter and 7th level King, that's a pretty unimpressive
Yeah,
kingdom.
yeah, I have the Neverwinter campaign setting, and I'm like, all right, so what level is this guy? And I open the page to his stat block. He's level 7. The king of this all great, huge city is level 7.
I could go and poke him in the eye with my pinky finger and kill him.
It's not... You just have to hire like a level 15 assassin and he's dead.
Any of my boat captains could kill him.
Well, I actually have to look at those. I haven't looked at them.
Oh, the ones I created, I established at level 15. A ship's captain should be powerful as far as I'm concerned. You've got to keep a crew, especially a crew of pirates and stuff like that. You got to keep them under control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the captain for my flagship is essentially captain of the guard, and I told you what I wanted on that.
I think I built him out.
Established pretty, very strong. So, I'm sorry, but establishing a king of what's supposed to be this uber powerful kingdom as a level 7 character that can be bitch slapped by any level 8 or 10 thief is ridiculous.
I mean, if that's a campaign I could make for like a level 3 party, honestly.
I might as well just go and take over Neverwinter.
I won't allow that.
But you know what I mean. It's just ridiculous. But that's our Sunday campaign. We'll talk about that on Monday. Hopefully we'll talk about it on Monday. We won't have issues with our bandwidth and other things going on again, so we can upload.
I got maps and stuff to draw still, so
Well, I've found a couple of, and this is something. If I buy it and we use it, then we might vlog it. Or we might do. Might do a podcast with some pictures thrown in to be able to show what the software looks like. But I'm looking at a couple of pieces of software for mapping because I don't feel like drawing.
I'll ask you after. But what I'm using right now is a Sketchbook Pro and GIMP. GIMP for like tiles, and you can use stamps and stuff, so you can just put the symbols on, and then
and you're able to create your own stamps in it.
Yeah, and I don't know how to, but there are like templates that a bunch of other people have made that you can use.
So you're using that?
I haven't actually gotten to use that. If I actually zoom into a continent, I'll use that.
Well, the one piece of software I'm looking at will actually draw the map out, and it's gridded. So you don't have to worry about that. You'll be able to do your scale and everything you need to do, and it has all the stuff built into it for forests, buildings, castles, walls. So I'm going to look at it again. I know you've gotten the authorization from the Mominator to go ahead and buy it. So we might.
You got to get permission from her first because she's mom.
That's right. There's some things that I'll just do, and others where I'm like, ask your mom. I don't want to hear it if she's like, why the hell did you buy that? So that's why I defer to mom. As an adult, people learn. You pick your fights, and you never pick a fight with mom.
But I do really like using the sketchbook and GIMP method because you get to draw out your map exactly as you want.
You'll be able to do it with this software I'm looking at too.
And then you go into GIMP and you can put stamps and things down.
You'll be able to do that in here too.
Granted, the sketchbook part wasn't free. It was far from free. I'm sure it was more expensive.
Well, that was a Christmas gift, and I got it. You know me, I got it on Black Friday off Amazon. I love Black Friday deals.
I'm sure that software is like $100 normally because it was a pro thing.
It was a lot less, but it's already that time of year. I'm looking forward to Black Friday again, but
Jesus, it's already June, isn't it?
I know.
It's like I don't know, 5 months.
And ever since Amazon and their Black Friday stuff started, I've never gone to the store for a Black Friday deal. I think people are crazy for doing it. It's not fun. But this isn't D&D related, but we'll move on.
We were kind of talking about stuff just generally RPG related.
But I think if we get the mapping software, we'll put something up and put a review, and you can let people know what you think of it. That's one thing I really want us to move towards as well. Start putting up some game reviews. And I'm not talking video games. I'm talking like, the D&D games that we have where it's like D&D. You've got the 4 guys. What the hell are the names of the games?
What?
It's, we've got all 3 of them where you put the tiles down. You randomly pick a tile and then you start throwing monsters in as you go.
Ravens Hold.
Yeah, those we've got 2 or 3 of them. Plus, we have another one we haven't played yet.
The D&D board game. It's like a D&D board game where you put tiles down, and then you have your character block things, and you have powers.
And basically, there's no DM. The game is the DM. You're just throwing the things down. But I'd like
and then any monsters that come in on your turn, you control them and go around and kill people with them.
But I'd like to do some reviews of that kind of stuff, and that's perfect for vlogging. Is to sit down and talk about the game, show the pieces, maybe play a round or 2 just to show everybody what the game looks like. But I think that would be a nice thing to add to our videos that we put up. But for now, we're going to finish up the vlog, or our blog, our podcast. That's senility.
It's not a vlog or a blog.
That's our senility setting in. It's a podcast that's going on the blog, but yeah, that's another thing.
I'm not senile. You're senile.
Yeah, you're too young to be senile. I'm already getting there.
But anyways, thanks for listening.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up now. And, hopefully, if you guys are playing encounters, you're having fun, you've got a good DM, good table. And here's the thing, it's not important whether you're playing Next or 4E or
as long as you're having fun.
Yep. So don't worry. Don't worry about the rules. If you're going in and you're like, I really want to play Next, but you go someplace where all the DMs are playing 4th edition, sit down to the table and have fun. You're going to have fun. It's a game. Games are there to have fun, and you can have fun playing 4th edition. I had fun playing some of the 5th edition stuff, the thing we played over the weekend a week ago. I'm having fun DMing this. Yes, I'm frustrated with a player or 2. Because of what they're doing to kind of screw the group over, but I'll take care of that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video,
listening,
watching, something like that.
Thanks for tuning in.
Tuning in, that works too. If you enjoyed the video and you're on YouTube, like, rate, subscribe. And if you're on a blog, I'm sure there's a link to the YouTube. So just click that.
That's right. Make sure you click on the link to go directly to YouTube and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow this one as well. And if you like video games, our other channel, Red Boy Games, we're doing video games and gameplay with commentary. So be sure to subscribe to both channels. Thanks again. This is RPGDad signing off.
RPGNate. Bye.